Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's enjoying their Sunday. This should be a fairly safe podcast for you guys to watch and enjoy. I kind of want to get on a more serious topic. The title's pretty much well self-explanatory. But what's not self-explanatory is why. Well, that's actually very self-explanatory. You know, I've been going around today over on the Minds, Gab, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, all the different various spots I'm on, which is just too many to name. And we have the haves and have-nots. I'm seeing the comments. I'm seeing one group of comments. Well, if you are, then you hate America. No, that is like the most asinine comment you could ever make. And that's what they want you to make. That's what they want all of us to pick a side, choose, and divide ourselves. I've made comment in the last few videos about the one image I seen over that was shared on the minds of the two protesters, one have and one have not, both protesting together with different choices and different views about the vaccine. Cool. And the other one of them was holding up the other sign. We are friends, and we choose to use our right to voice our opinions and views, even though we differ. We're standing side by side, protecting our freedom of choice. And this is what the haves and have-nots it's boiling down to. It isn't about are you or are you not. It's all about the freedom of choice. The freedom to make a choice and respect other people's choices. You cannot go around and say you hate America because you refuse to get the vaccine. Or because, no, it was not because you refused, because you got the vaccine, you hate America. No, you cannot go there. That's what they want us to do. They want us to keep dividing ourselves, pitting ourselves against each other. Like I said, if we ever want to make waves are starting to happen now as we speak. I told you guys there'd be consequences to this. Now most people think, well, Americans are too divided, they're too soft. We ain't soft, and we ain't weak. That's the first misinterpretation of everything. You just see what you're being told to see half the time, when the real truth's sitting there right in front of you. You just can't see it because you're listening to everything else that you're being programmed to listen to and see. People are dictating what you can see instead of you choosing to see through the illusions and lies. The haves and have-nots. There ain't nothing wrong with either or. It's about personal choice. We need to get back in the habit of respecting personal choices. I catch grief, I catch slack all the time for the stances I take when it comes to freedoms. Because that's what they are. There are freedoms. Yes, we might not agree with one person's choices, but they have that right that we're so vehemently trying to protect right now, to make that choice and be whatever they want to be. It's a choice. We can respect that choice. We don't have to agree with them. But I tell you what, that's how they keep sowing these seeds of discord. They'll get these hot little topics that we're all going to jump on. But in the end, is it affecting you? I can see some cases where, yeah, it can start affecting you. But that's only when these greedy politicians start putting actors into play to cause a division, to cause that spark. And they know which buttons to push on every single one of us. They know which buttons we're going to jump right off the cliff for. And they use it all the time. So it comes back to respecting other people's choices. Once we start going that route and start doing that, it's going to be harder for them to push us, to hit those buttons. Yes, I might not agree with that person's choices and decisions in life. But you know what? What I do respect is the person is actually out there living up to what the Constitution says, their freedom of choice, their freedom of expression. And I will back them 100% no matter what their choice is, whether I agree with it or disagree with it, because they're upholding their freedom of choice. But yet, along comes these congressmen, congresswomen, presidents, so-called presidents. They know these buttons. Okay, we can push the race card. We can push the transgender card, the equality cards, the civil cards. We can push the equal rights cards. Who makes more money, women or men? And these are all little hot buttons that gets most people's minds aflaming. And it just causes division. And now I'd like to think after the civil rights movement, after the real feminist movement, not the so-called one today, that's pretty much just a bunch of paid actors that the government uses to demonetize people. Sorry, what happened in D.C. during President Trump's inauguration, during the real feminist movement, would have never happened when that woman got smacked and beat by cops, and they protected the man that did it from the cops. Oh no, the cops would have had to peel them off just to save that man's life. Feminist movement ended right there. We have to pay attention to these things. Most people see it. Oh yeah, shouldn't have been saying what she is saying. Yeah, she should have. She has the right to, just like they had the right to protest with their movement and say what they were saying, even though what they were saying was pretty much go straight out of the politicians' playbooks, because they like to infiltrate all these movements, all these groups, and shatter them and twist the meanings. But I get it. People are fed up. People are mad. I'm mad. I'm fed up. But when it comes down to taking stands and stances, I will never disrespect somebody's freedom of choice or say they must hate America. That's wrong. And I'm seeing a lot of it. It's just not saying that, it's saying other things. We should be respecting their choice and finding common ground with all of our choices, respecting each other's choices. Otherwise, we just keep letting them win. Like I said earlier, there's consequences to things, and we're seeing it. We've seen a parent slap a lawsuit against the school board and handed him a subpoena right there. Best thing I've ever seen. We've seen, I don't know what, a pageant woman walk out protesting. Then we see the airlines in the last couple of days. What's happened there? Oh my. Bust out the whips and chains. Oh my, look what's happening. People are finding a way to take a stand. You know what hurts these little greedy, rich, egotistical sociopaths more than anything? When they start losing money. When they start losing money, who are they going to go to? Oh, they're going to go to the politicians that they pay. Hey, knock it off. You're costing us money. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe, just maybe, the airline industry got it right. Just maybe that parent that probably didn't have the money to do it slapped that lawsuit against that school board and put it all the way out there. And it was a ridiculous amount. Let's talk about the firefighters that are suing. Let's start hurting where the money is. Let's just walk and stop. Let's just make all industry stop for a couple of days. Everybody walks out, takes a vacation, a strike, whatever you want to call it. Use a colorful label, because I tell you what, when you start hurting their pockets, they do start to have a change of attitude. Now, granted, it is a corrupt system. Will that lawsuit go anywhere? No, probably not, because that was in California, I think. One of them was in California. I think the firefighter was in California. That's not going to go nowhere. We all know that. Depends on the area you're at, how much leeway. But we only need one of those cases to win. Very much truth talk, without the vulgarity. So far, no promises. I struggle in that department. I'm not going to apologize, because it's my expression and my freedom of choice. But, when I want to try to do a serious podcast, I try to keep it out of there as much as possible. It probably won't last, but, it is what it is. And I get it that it offends some people, which is cool. I get that. I've always stated I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not going to apologize for it. There's things you probably do that I don't like. So we'll just call it even and get through this. And that's the attitude we should have. But no, that's not what these politicians, these people that are oppressing us want. They want us at each other's throats. They want us nitpicking, so divided we can't even unite as a whole. There's consequences to things. They've forgotten that. They think we are at their bowing down to their every whim. We're not. Yes, they're going to implement things. We've discussed this, what they might try to do, and things they will try to do. But then again, we all know our congressmen and congresswomen, clear down to our state level, should be wearing NASCAR jumpsuits with all the people that pay them, all their sponsors of blackmail. That way we know who's paying them, because that's who they answer to. They don't give. This is challenging, How to use the vocabulary minus vulgarity. Might be a fun little game to play for a little bit. It is challenging to see how these narcissistic egomaniacs take when they start losing money, when it starts hurting their pockets. People say, "Oh, they got all the." Doesn't matter. Their ego, their narcissism, can't stand to lose a penny. It's ACD on steroids. They even so much lose a penny, they'll flip. Especially if you start shutting things down. They wanted to shut it down. What happens if we choose to shut it down? Because then, it kind of goes against the status quo, because we didn't do it, or they didn't do it. And this time it might not be, essential personnel that can work, or essential businesses that can stay open. It's just everything. Let me tell you, people that work at Walmart, Amazon, if you guys all just walked out, because of this, united. And this means both the haves and have-nots. Just come to a mutual agreement. Let's take a vacation day, all of us. We want to make a point. I respect your choice. I wish you'd respect mine. But let's find some commonality. Let's make it about that. It's about personal choice. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's about our freedom. It's about our constitutional right to have that choice. Otherwise, if we don't have the freedom of choice, we're no better than we will be no better than these third world countries that have dictators running them that tell them what to do. It becomes a point where we can agree to disagree. Now, it sounds like it's cool. It sounds like it's pretty. It sounds like, yes, I get it. And many of you say it's impossible. Nothing's impossible. Improbable? Maybe. Impossible? Never. Because there's no such thing as impossible. If we try, if we make an effort. More people are seeing through this crap. More people are getting tired of being lied to. And you can, I mean, let's keep it real. Most people, what's the one thing you hate the most is a liar, right? I mean, that's top of my list, liar. Because we got to trust people. It's in our nature to want to trust. When that trust is broken, it is the worst feeling ever. And it's one of the hardest things to regain. We no longer have that trust in our politicians. So why do we keep putting the same ones back in office? Why do we let them pit us against each other? Saying, oh, I can only vote Republican. I'm red. I'm red. I'm red. I can only vote blue. I'm left. I'm left. I'm a blue pill. Who cares? I don't give two flying F's what you are. Because what you are is not red or blue. You're an American citizen. You're a fellow brother and sister. You're not some label that's meant to subcategorize you and divide you from the rest of the pack. You know, when I look at politicians, when it comes to election time, I'm listening to everything they say. I'm checking, when I have time, I'm checking their facts. I'm not letting some independent fact checker do it for me. I'm doing it myself. It's like the doctor found out. I don't care about your statistics. I care about what I see, what I've perceived, what I've experienced. That trumps any statistic fact that you could throw at me. I witnessed it. There's a difference. Something's not right. You can take those facts, those statistics, and shove it so far up your candy, you know what? And I'll get back to you later when everything comes crumbling down and people are blaming you. Because you're right. The pharmaceutical industry is not liable. But I tell you what, that doctor is, that hospital is. Every doctor out there is liable for violating his Hippocratic oath. Every judge, every lawyer that violates the Constitution and twists the laws and bends the laws to favor a political agenda has violated their oath and makes them liable. The law is a two-edged sword. Know how to use it. Know how to sell it to a jury of your peers. Because that's what law is. It is he or she that can sell their interpretation of the law to their peers to win the case. It has nothing to do with law. It really don't. If you got a mouthpiece and you know how to use it and you know how to spin a tale that's going to get half that jury or all that jury to believe your interpretation of it, you won. Simple as that. Hence why both sides fight so hard to get the right jurors in, which is also why they made changes to the laws to where if you do go jury trial, if it's criminal anyway, You know, there is no minimum sentencing there. You're getting the max if you lose. It's a deterrence to keep you from doing it because most cases, most judges, not all. I'm not only gonna say most. A few out there are so politically biased that they will only rule by politics, not by the letter of the law. Not by what they know is right and wrong. Like I said, but it is nice to see people standing up, going after them. Go after them with those lawsuits. Because eventually it's going to find its way somewhere. And if you got enough money to rack it all the way up to the Supreme Court, even better. You got to go through the process. Most people give up right after the first loss. No, you keep going. You follow it all the way up the ladder through the state, federal. Then you get to the states, then to the federal level, then eventually to the Supreme Court. You don't stop. But most people can't afford that because they made it so expensive to where you can't afford it. The common folk can't afford to go see that process all the way through. It'll bankrupt them, and that's what they'll do. They'll try to bankrupt you. Happens all the time, case after case. If you do go start digging and looking, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work because eventually, like I said, it only takes one judge to rule on that case, and it is permanently written in the records books. Then any other person can cite that law in a courtroom. And guess what? Yes, you might lose at the lower levels, but once it gets to the Supreme Court, you've got yourself a winner. And if you don't, I don't trust our Supreme Court either. Sorry. But from time to time, it seems they only fail us on certain real political issues. But we're starting to see the consequences of things. I want to see it spread like wildfire. I am not going to lie. Because that's what needs to happen. But to achieve those things, yes, they screw up the Second Amendment cases all the time. Because it's an easy ruling for the Supreme Court. It is in black and white. These rights shall not be infringed or ever changed. In fact, there's a part of the Constitution that actually says that. The first few were never supposed to be amended or changed. Period. But, we got to have control. We got to have liability. We got to have, oh, no, you're just scared. You fear because you're trying to do something that's not right. So therefore, you fear the repercussions. So we need to make amendments to it. We need to make changes to it. And look at it as it today, so riddled with amendments and changes. Is there some things I think should have been that needed to be changed? No, not really, because it was pretty straightforward in black and white. It's just people need clarification. Because, well, it don't state that. So therefore, we don't have to honor that. The whole civil rights movement, that's what that was about. Where it's clear, black and white, as an American citizen, as all fellow brothers and sisters, we all have equal rights. We all have equal liberties. We all are supposed to be free women and men, no matter what our skin color was. But, guess it needed to be broken down farther and worded when it should have never been that. But that's some of our forefathers' fault. They didn't want to break their ways of the way of doing things. Nobody's perfect. But they gave us a perfect document that was so simple and so feared around the world that's continued to this day has made us the most hated country in the world because of our freedoms. And we're trying to give it away on a silver platter because we keep falling into that pitfall of division. You know, we keep letting them divide us, and I don't get it. I figure by now we're smart enough to see through that. Yeah, granted, I mean, there's bunch of stuff that goes with it. There's indoctrination, programming, psychological warfare. But eventually, you got to get to a point where you see right through that. I mean, where does it go? We shouldn't be arguing amongst ourselves about the haves and have between us haves and have-nots, who's right or wrong. We should be. I respect that choice. I hope you can respect mine. We got to start creating common ground, not doing what they want us to do and be at each other's throat, not going to family dinners or family gatherings because we have a difference of opinion that's stupid. Because our opinions are based on politics. And politics should have no place in the home. Especially nowadays, with our politics being so corrupt. You know, parents should have the rights. Excuse me. Parents should have the rights to make the choices for their kids, not the school's board, not the school system, not the CPA or whatever it is, Child Protective Service, CPS. Not no state, and it's true. It's become the states literally have taken their children from you, cleared from the school. We indoctrinate them in the school, and you have no say. Well, I'll tell you what. One guy just proved that we do. You know what the worst part of it was? The case that he made. Oh my God, that school board, that particular school district, was one of the more wealthiest paid school districts in the state, and several states. It was like the top one. Well, obviously, all that money is not going into the education system. It's not going back into the school. Where's it going? Guess you can afford to lose some of that then. But you know what they're going to do? They're going to punish the kids. That's how they get back. You got to play devil's advocate. You got to be able to see several steps down the line what's going to be there first. I remember growing up, school levies. Oh, if you don't pass this, we're going to take the kids' sports. We're going to cut the band program. We're going to cut the music program, the art program, the FFA. It was the way that threatened the parents that we're going to punish your kids. We're going to take this. Well, one, sports and all that should never trump education. Ever. But the powers that be are corrupt politicians, and they know how to play this game so well. They're like, well, this is the only way for some people to get out and actually maybe make it to the pros, to the colleges, get out of the areas that they're in. And there comes that indoctrination. Instead of pumping money into those schools to make it better, to where these people get educated, to where they can go on to have real careers as scientists, doctors, lawyers. No, we don't want that. We want to keep those school districts poverty-stricken. So the only way out is through sports programs, not academics. I mean, now we want to pay our college athletes that play college sports instead of giving them the proper education. But nobody questioned it. Well, yeah, they should get paid. They get hurt. No, they shouldn't. They're not there. Their profession is not there for their sports program. It's there for them to become educated in the field that they chose. Have we forgotten that? We as parents, that's where we should intercede. But by that time, our kids are adults, and truthfully, you're not an adult till after 25 because your mind isn't fully your mind. They don't consider your brain to be fully mature as an adult until the age of 25. You gotta love science, which is we've seen that get played out under the Obama era. He used that little scientific fact to make parents and stuff liable for their children up to 25, so their children, so they can still claim them. Nobody thought about that one. There's reasons for everything they do. Everything. Nothing's free. Nothing's handed down to you. It all comes with strings. Because they don't think you're going to see it, and if they do, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. That's their mentality. That's how they see you. Well, like I said, you can only put you only dare corner a raccoon at your peril. And I don't care what it is. You put somebody in the corner, there's only two mechanisms that trigger: fright or fight. And usually the primal fight overtakes the fright because they are backed in the corner and it becomes a life or death situation, and fright gets trumped by the primal instincts of each and every one of us. But like I said, how do we keep letting them play this stupid division game? I mean, why would we tell somebody that if you're vaccinated, you hate America? And this is coming from somebody claims saying they're a patriot. You're not a patriot. You're no better than the people that are forcing you to do this. You're buying right into what they want you to do. Hook, line, sinker, the whole reel. You just took it all. And tried to tell somebody because they had used their freedom of choice. And like I said, this is what separates me from the crowd. That's not patriotic. That's making you no better than the people that are forcing it upon people. That person had every right to make that choice, take that vaccine. Just like you have just like me, you, speaking for myself, I have every right to make that choice not to, which I have made. I will not take it. Don't need no other reasons. Don't need no other scientific facts. I definitely don't need somebody to tell me you're not. If you don't, you're not going to have a job. The day you do that, I will come out of retirement. I will reintroduce everybody to that monster that I was. And there will be hell to pay. You don't threaten a man's job. You don't threaten a man's livelihood. You don't threaten a man's family. And you definitely don't threaten an American's freedom. There will be consequences. You don't threaten to fine a company because you want to force people's choices. It is about freedom of choice. And I tell you what, some of you might not like me much more because the next person I see that claims to be a patriot that disrespects another American, I'm going to tear into you. Because you're feeble-minded. That's your fellow brother and sister who chose to make a choice. Respect their freedom. Quit becoming like the fucking politicians that you bitch about. You're no better when you try to deny another person's their right to choice of freedom. I want you, everyone that listens to this, get that part through your heads now. That's how you end that division that they keep creating. I don't care if you're red, if you're a red pill, blue pill, that means nothing to me. That's a label. I'm an American. Yes, that's a label too. But that's a label I choose to give power and meaning to. That's an important label. Just like it's important that I see you as brothers and sisters because you're American. That's how much power that label should have. Look at the men and women who sacrificed their lives for that very notion of our freedoms. So you can have the freedom of choice, the freedom to express yourself, the freedom to bear arms. You give up that freedom of choice, you give up the freedom to bear arms. You give up every right and liberty you have. So don't ever, just because a person has a different opinion and view than you, say that person don't have that right or they hate America. That right there, anybody seen that post over on Twitter should have got their blood boiling, but it don't, because we're programmed to attack, attack, attack. We see it. Or nobody was there defending that person. You know, just like I happened to click over, I was like, Trump rally thing. What are they talking about? You know, I think it was one of the major news idiots, affiliate networks. You know, oh man, the comments through there, they were hilarious. People posting because they wanted people's opinions. Of course, it was one-sided. There's only a few that weren't, and they were having fun with it. But that's what division does. It brings you to that point to where you hate your fellow American. Your fellow American's evil because they have the choice, right? And believe it or not, I'm willing to bet money that half that was bots on those posts because you can spot them out. More than half was easy to spot out. We all know how the pay game goes. Here, we want you to go spam this channel. We'll pay you this much for how much spam you do. Hey, welcome. We are free. You know, like I said, when I want to make waves, I make waves. And past few weeks, I've been all over the place making waves, causing ripples, planting those seeds. I know how to do my job. But I can't stand it when I see us so divided that we'll attack another fellow American. Where we say they don't have a right to choose. I don't care who you are. That's because that's what it's all about. These haves and have-nots, or vaxxed and unvaxxed, that's what it is all about. It is about freedom of choice. It has nothing to do with anything else. Respect the freedom of choice. If we respect the freedom of choice, we win. They can't use that against us. If all these business companies take a stance where we're going to respect their constitutional freedom of choice to make the choices to be vaccinated or unvaccinated, that's their choice, and we're going to respect that, we win. How do we get about that? Well, tell you what, like I first stated, what's the worst thing you can do to a rich, egotistical narcissist that has OCD over a penny? Make them lose millions. Have a mass walkout at a factory or at, why not, airlines. Of course, you know, they're spinning it as that's not what it was about. Well, of course not. It's a union. They're not allowed to strike. Ah, yes. Key word there, free and dom. Freedom has a meaning. Compound words always have meaning. It's how you use them. It's how we use labels, how we choose to give one label power and one not. We all claim to be American, so let's be American. That means we have freedom of choice, freedom of expression, rights to bear arms, liberties, justices. And there's repercussions to those that try to take them away. Almost every war we fought, whether we agree with it or disagree with it, disagree with a few of them out there, it's always been on that principle for the other country's right to have what we have: freedom, liberty. Me personally, I'd rather see us mind our own business, but that's not what we do. We're that beacon of the whole world. We always have been ever since the first shot was fired. And it was even before the first shot was fired. It was clear back down to the Boston Tea Party. When we took that rebel stance and gave them the big F you and finger, we're done. Nothing's changed. History can repeat itself. It does quite frequently. It's a matter of swaying the numbers back, taking that control back. Yeah, world government, they want that. They've always wanted that. And the only way they get that is by destroying that one beacon of freedom. The only beacon of freedom that's out there. Until they can fully and utterly destroy that, which is destroying the United States, the American ideas, values, and beliefs, there can never be a world government. That's the game we're playing. That's the big, grand chessboard. It is not a 3D chessboard. It is a multi-dimensional, functional chessboard. Moves are being played on every level of the board. Things that were started clear back in the 50s and 60s are just now playing out now. They played the long game. They're already making moves for 30, 40 years down the road that we're not even paying attention to, because we're all distracted by this or that. But we're seeing people rise up finally. We're seeing the consequences. You can only put your foot on a person's neck for so long before, they're gonna bite back and fight back. The last few years has been happening over Europe. It's just now starting to catch fire and happen in Australia. We've seen it happen in Italy, Spain. It's happening in Germany, France. Once that fire is lit, it is so hard to put out because it spreads like wildfire. They say it's the fire of rebellion. It needs to be crushed. That's kind of a military tactical term that gets overlooked by the common folk. The spirit of rebellion must be crushed. How do we crush it? Well, we start by dividing people. We start by finding the best thing that's going to put so much fear into people, they're not going to question it. Until they do. Then we're going to come up and play on that fear some more until you stop questioning it, which they have. How many lies? Well, like I said, I'm willing to bet almost 99% of most people on this earth The one thing that they truly hate is a liar. How many times are you going to let yourself be lied to? I mean, once is enough for me. You broke that bond of trust. I may give you a chance to regain that trust. Don't count on it. And I may forgive you. But you can bet your bottom dollar I will never forget. Ever. That will always be in my mind. And it's like that for most people. That's why it's one of the hardest things to regain is people's trust once you've broken and violated that. Our politicians have violated and broken that trust. Many of our doctors have violated that trust. Our judges and lawyers have violated that trust. I've talked about why the attack, why are they going after the nurses and the doctors? Why are they going after the first responders, the police, the firefighters? Why are they going after our military? I want you to think on that for a minute. I got to step aside and use the bathroom real quick. Think about that. In fact, I want you to think about December. This is something I haven't, I don't know how everybody's missed it. I don't know how I missed it for this long. I happened to be reading an article, about the airline thing. There was that date or that month. Think about it. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. There seems to be this looming deadline. And I guess maybe I didn't realize it because I thought it was just the military that had the December deadline. But come to find out, this deadline is also in December for the airlines. And there was a couple other places once I started researching it, it seems like December is the deadline for all these companies and places to have all their people vaxxed or else. Why December? Are we sticking to this theme of dark winter? Because that would make it a very dark winter and make it really bad timing. That's the holidays. That's Christmas. You force all these people out during that time. That would make for a very dark winter. Especially the way things are going right now. Like I said, I haven't seen this part in the areas that I frequent and I'm around, but I have friends in other areas. They have seen it, and I trust their opinions and views. We've seen the well documented of all the shipping ships that are just sitting out there because they can't get into port to get unloaded. It's a manufactured crisis for a reason. We instill that fear. But yet, it shouldn't be a problem because if the deadline's not till December that you're pushing this agenda, then all those Port Harbor workers should be allowed back to work until December, right? No, it's not working that way, is it? That tastes so good. But why December? I don't know how I overlooked it. Shouldn't have overlooked it, honestly, because I am with somebody that's in the military. And I know about the deadlines. Just like I seen something else that I bring up since we've kind of talked about these deadlines. The military's involved in this anyway. There you got a big event coming up on the 13th. A big conference between a bunch of top brass and some retired brass about the pandemic and the impact. Some of the wording, I shared it on Minds and Twitter, and some of the impact of this, the wording, it was like, wow. I've discussed why with our key areas, our police, our first responders, our National Guard, our military. Why do we want to make this an issue? And we're going to see who the true people are. And I know some that's already, I've discussed it with some. They're going to do what they're told, because here's their view and opinion. So I'm not going to judge any military officials or military people on their choice, because it goes back to what I just said. This whole topic's been about thus far. Choice. They're choosing to take it because they know we need people in there that's going to still represent us. That's going to be there for us. They see what it was, the reason. They want all the ones that believe in the oaths they took, that aren't indoctrinated, that will not take an order that violates the Constitution. They want them out. I respect that above all. Like I said, you can never underestimate and forget the sacrifices that these men and women take. Because there's many that's going to make a sacrifice. Because they know what is happening. They know why. They know if they can push all these people out and their replacements, and I mean, oh my, Sword Point had a good video. It's on BitChute. It's the only place you can find it. There's a 2-hour video. Him and Bass, his friend, were talking. His son was in, and they got talking. It was like around the hour mark, I think, where this part of the conversation took place, talking about the new recruits. It's not like it was. It was like they've lowered the expectation, or they lowered the standards. So more people, the people that they want can get in and make in. It was, I shared it on my minds. I think I shared it on Twitter too. Yeah, I did. I even shared it on Facebook. Check, I haven't got banned yet. That's the thing. I don't care. I mean, I'm gonna share if I find it interesting and something that's gonna be educational to people. I'm gonna share it on all the platforms I'm on. That's why I'm on all the platforms that I'm on. Yeah, you're gonna might put me in timeout for 30 days, or you might just completely permanently nuke my group, as we've seen happen to Free Spirit Press's group, Free Spirit Prepping and News' page over on Facebook. And it was because of one of my videos. But the funny thing is, they didn't nuke my page. I guess it's not funny, but it goes to show numbers. There's a blessing of not having that many followers and subscribers on any given site. Now, yeah, my Facebook page has a few more than most places, but it's not that big. It gets overlooked. Hey, I'm under 90 over here on YouTube. I get overlooked. It's knowing that. But yet most people, they get that ego because they're taught and trained. You got to have all these people. You got to get all these likes to get attention. I don't care about attention. I get plenty of it. I get more attention than I want. But I'm not in an echo chamber either. Because I've got different groups of people from different sites interacting with me. Is it time consuming? Very. But that's how you stay out of the echo chambers. That's how you stay under the radar for the most part. But yes, I do realize, and I know eventually one day that they got my number. But until then, I'm going to have fun at their expense. I'm going to be that little rebel prick that keeps nudging and jabbing and doing what we all should be doing. The answer's never been running. We can't run. All running does is divide us more. It divides us from people that don't have good internet, can't go to D Live, but you don't care. Some of you don't. Some of you, it's about making money. We all know that. You say it's not, but it is. In the end, that's what it is. Some of you might say the same thing for me on the mines, but I'm not making no money over there. I'm using it for what it's for, and I'm watching the mines grow every day. New things being added. I mean, right now, their chat is amazing. I just created a group chat over there. Along with the groups that you can create. I'm streaming right now for my group on the mines. Not YouTube, not OBS. Granted, sometimes it's buggy, like I can't share screens right now for some odd reason. But I can go to our Free Spirit Prepping Your News channel and share. So there's probably something I just got to deal with one of their texts and leave a message and it'll get fixed. But they've added so much. Yes, they'll sometimes experiment with stuff. They experimented with the jury system, and I wasn't a fan. Because, it goes back to what we've been talking about the whole night. Freedom of choice. If you don't like what you're seeing, move on. If you don't like that type of content, turn the not safe for work on. You won't see it. Yeah, it'll be all blurred out. Don't click on it because you know what it is. It's about respecting other people's choices. How they choose to express them, how they say. If you know somebody's just going to be upright, pandering, posting content, block them. That's what the button's there for. Then you don't have to see anything from them ever again. But no, that's not what you're told to do. You're taught, oh no, that offends you, so we're going to report you, try to get them taken down. No, it doesn't work that way. That's how we've gotten to this point. But anywho, off topic. If you ain't on the mines, go check it out. They're actually, the things they've got in place is way better than any platform I've been on thus far. It's taken them time to get to this point. Is it a blockchain network? Yes. Is it based on cryptocurrency? Yes, but you don't have to connect a wallet and you don't have to have anything to do with that. That is a choice. And that is an option. But it's there. And the way things are going, sometimes it's good to have an investment on something you might not like. Everybody knows me and my opinions towards cryptocurrencies. Not a fan. But tell you what, it's gotten to that point where, all right, I've had enough. The gloves are off. Toolboxes are open. I'm going to use every tool at my disposal. That means creating a wallet, creating accounts, and doing my thing. So be it. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. I can use the very same tools and use it for my advantage, and I'm going to. It's gotten to that point. It's gotten to that point where they've pushed, prodded, threatened our livelihoods, threatened our families one too many times. They've divided us as a nation, as a country, as Americans, as brothers and sisters. Heaven forbid that the rhetoric of the evil CW world is. One, it's not going to be a civil war. I'm sorry. You can take that and just throw that out the window. It might start as little skirmishes like that, but it will be revolutionary because that's what it's about. And it has nothing to do with civils. It has everything to do. We got a government that's gotten out of control. And it's just not a state versus state matter. Because that's what the Civil War was. It was states versus states, to where it reached the federal level and two different a union was created and another government was created. Because back in the day, most people forgot, and this is really not taught in history though. Now that I think about it, my history being taught when I was growing up, but every state had their own president. Every colony had their own president. My forefather, John Rutledge, president of South Carolina for a time. So things led up to where we formed a union, a country. And ever since then, the powers that be, foreign more than anything, because we call them, what do we call them back then? The Loyalist Party. Loyal to the crown. But we let them in our government because, you know what? That's what we're about. We're starting afresh. Everybody's equal. Everybody has the same rights. You have a right to be part of this if you're part of a certain state. You're ahead of your state. So we had the Loyalist Party, and they've been undermining our government ever since. And from that, it's just broadened to, we got communists and socialists that's inside our government, undermining our our aspects. The whole system has become a cancer that unfortunately is spreading to us because they just want to destroy us. They want us compliant. They don't want us thinking for ourselves. We are a number to them. How much value does this person has as a worker? How much value does this person have when it comes to complying and taking orders? But why? Back to the original question I had. Why the December deadline on this? I get it. December is the last month of the year. There's no connection between dates because one's 15th, one's the 8th, and there's another. I can't remember what a couple of the other ones were, but it's all December. Why? What's so important about December other than financially? It's where we spend the most money. It's where we're with our families. It's also one of the most stressful times of the year. And it is. getting things ready, making sure our kids have presents, making sure we got, it's a very stressful time of the year. In-laws are coming over, we're gonna have family, friends over. Got to have everything right. Look, we know how we are, but financially, it is stressful. And and any tactician, not even the smartest tactician knows, a person's at their weakest when they're stressing, when they have fear, when they're worrying. They're easier to manipulate. Their defenses are down. Most psychological warfare takes place during those times because it's the easiest to implant those those types of implant thoughts, and these, you know, all the big ads come out. We're bombarded. It's psychological warfare on steroids come the holidays. I thought I kind of laughed the other day. There was a article. Target, they're starting their October Black Friday sales now. Then somebody commented, but it's kind of hard to do that. How are you going to do that when we're in a shortage? Because all your supply containers and shipping containers are still sitting out waiting to get into the harbor and unloaded. Our truck drivers workforce is cut in half. We got truck drivers sitting. My sister came and visited yesterday, so I just dropped her off. Come on, just like a 2-hour drive for me. But on the way to drop her back to Ohio to drop her off, she made a comment on one of the rest stop. She's like, "Man, that's a lot of Walmart trucks. They're all just parked there. It's like they've all agreed to stay at that spot." And they were lined up one by one. Walmart, 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 Walmart. I mean, that whole parking area for the semis, where every truck in that spot was Walmart, and there was a few other more Walmarts. It's like, damn, I didn't realize there were that many Walmart trucks, that many Walmarts going. Obviously, they're going north. It's like, wow, which there is. I mean, there's a Walmart almost every major big town, and every city has one. I mean, the area I was from, there was a Walmart within a half hour. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7 Walmarts within a half-hour drive. They're actually just as bad as a dollar store. I mean, there's a dollar store everywhere you go. If it's got a population of 500, they find a way to put a dollar store in there. Hey, it's a poor man's Walmart. Why not? But let's think about it. With this legislation, which I'm not sure if it passed or not, I caught something earlier, and it's like, nah, I'm tired of the politics. Yep, Mitch McConnell's caved or gave in or whatever, sold out. Something else sold out because he didn't use the filibuster. I know they were kind of defending him on this one. That's I don't care, but I just know that bill that has the fine thing in it was put into the spending the budget. I don't know if they took it out or if it's still there, but if it's still there, at this point I'm sick of whatever they do anyway. It's a dog and pony show. I mean, really, it's a 3-ring circus, and the only difference is you get more you get way more entertainment out of a 3-ring circuit. You actually get your bang for your buck there, where you lose with this 3-ring circus of a government we have. Literally lose. But if that was in there, and if what I'm gleaming, which I don't know, I'm not going to say yay or nay, it did, it passed, or didn't, I don't know. But is that going to take Are they going to push that to December? That everybody, every factory, every business that has over 100 employees has till December? And that just brings me back to why December? What am I missing? What are they waiting for? Maybe it's nothing. But usually when I hone in on something like that, there's something there. I've learned to trust my instincts and my feelings when it comes to things like that. Especially when it's something that, wait, how'd I miss that? Because it was, it was a trigger for me. It's like, hey, dummy, pay attention. You need to be looking over here. You need to be asking these questions. Triggers are good. But yet we're told triggering people is bad. No, it's great. It's a great thing. And it's like, okay, what am I missing? Why? So hence, I'm asking you, why? Why do they need to wait till December? What are they waiting for? What shoe to drop, so to speak, are they waiting for? Moves and counter moves. It's like, okay, like I said, they've got so many moves. It's hard to find the right counter move. It's hard to find, okay, what am I missing? Why am I all of a sudden getting distracted? What don't they want me to see? And that's our jobs to see through, find. So, for those that like like something to do, why December? What are we missing? And I mean, personally, at this point, you don't give me a deadline. That's your first mistake. I'm not one of those that's going to work harder to get that deadline done. I'm going to be one of those tell you if you want it done right and you want quality, we need more time. If you don't, you need to find somebody else. I ain't a quantity type of guy. When you start dealing with quantity, you start getting inferior products. You start getting echo chambers. But I'm just not seeing why the push for December. I mean, I see it on other levels. The reason why, because I mean, they've been playing the fear game for this long. I mean, every day's been Halloween since 2019. Let's keep it real. And it could be a beta test. Yeah, that's a possibility. They've used them. They love using them. We need to see how they're going to react. And that wouldn't surprise me. That's not what I'm feeling. You know, then, it's playing all these different mind games, figuring out. But then I remember what happened on Inauguration Day this year. That's a potential. Maybe that's what they're wanting. But if they wanted that, they'd push harder to get their people in place and the the military, our first responders, more of them out before that. So no, don't see it that way. It's possible. Maybe they overlooked something. Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut. But right now, it is. It's intriguing. And the answer is simple. And that's where my downfall. I don't see simplicity. I only see complex stuff. It's got to be complex. If it's something simple, I'll never get it. That's just not me. So I have other people around me that's there that like, hey, you'll get it here in a second. It's simple. Just chill. It is what it is. We all got our little quirks and flaws. But like I said, it's been an interesting day, been an interesting few weeks actually. I'm feeling a little bit better. You know, the medicine's definitely helping for the respiratory infection. You know, I've actually had somebody ask me, "Well, what if it was COVID? Would you have took the injection?" I'm like, "No, because my immune system's already fought it off once. I've already had it once. I've not gotten injected. I've not gotten a vaccine for it. I don't believe in it. Why? The real statistics of it. The flu shot. You're getting the previous year's flu shot, not the one that's current. Then, after lie after lie after lie, I really don't want to get it. But I do respect those that do, because that's their choice. It's just my choice not to get it. Could I be wrong? No, not really. I trust my body. Now, I know my body said I needed that inhaler, because the last time I had a respiratory infection, it was not good. I was down for a while, and I can't afford to be down now. You know, I still got a very sore throat, but hey, Dayquil works perfect for that until it wears off. But so does tea. You know, I like my herbal teas too. I'm a coffee drinker, but hey, tell you what, when I'm sick, it's definitely herbal teas and some CBDs. But I know my body, and it goes back to I've done a podcast a long time, a while ago, probably last year, last couple of years. Know thyself, and we should. We should know every aspect of ourselves. How is your body's system, immune system? If it's weak, then yes, you do need supplements. You can't be like me and like, no, I'm practically going to be on my deathbed to go to the doctor. But I also know that in the workplace, COVID's been spreading a lot. It can pass from one person to the next, and it's just a revolving cycle. And I'm not going to be the one to further it along to the next person. Okay, so I lose 2 days of work, which I can't afford. Which the way my factory works, I'm good. I've got a doctor's note, so. But there's that vacation time that I, gone because that I was saving up for December. But hey, I haven't. Every time I go I've been wanting to take a vacation for myself, and it just don't work. And if something comes up, I need to take it for somebody else, or I moved, so I took 2 days to do the moving, and all that went to hell because the old lady got deployed. It kind of left everything screwed up on the financial wise of all the money being transferred back between banks, which that'll take care of itself this week. So that'll be good. I'm just not going to take a vacation day to do whatever I need because I don't need to now. 4 days a week, 10-hour shifts. I got 3 days off. That's more than enough time. So I won't have the place furnished by the time she gets home like I wanted to. She's cool with that. I'm not cool with that, but that's just me. I wanted it to be perfect when she got home. So all she had to do was relax. But okay, cool. Things don't always go as we want or planned. Hence why we have backups. And truthfully, I still might get part of this furnished before she gets home. It'll just be hardly no sleep. I mean, probably no sleep because I have a 2 hour drive to work now, which I don't mind. People that know me know I actually like getting out, driving, seeing things, adventuring. What I don't like is the skyrocketing gas prices. That's expensive. And there is no reason for it. I mean, literally, it's been fluctuating up and down, up and down. One weekend you can get gas for 2.98. Come Monday, it's back up to 2.30. I mean, damn, diesel here was like a penny from $4. It's ridiculous. But I guess they're probably saying, "Oh, there's an oil shortage." Really? If there's an oil shortage, it's self-manufactured by these rich oil tycoons that are greedy. You know, or by our government's laws that restrict and put so much regulation into all that rich oil they found in Texas, which they had a hard time getting people to come to work for them. They were paying good money. I mean, they were paying for your travel, your education. I mean, I had thought about it, but it's Texas. Nothing wrong with Texas, guys. It's just me. It's Texas. I mean, it's too close to all the chaos and all the stuff that I don't want to even delve into, that I've researched, that drove me away from that research. That literally had me seeing red for a few months on end. We're not delving back down that rabbit hole again. Somebody else has got the temperament and temperance for it can do that. But that's also self manufactured. Our crisis at the border is self manufactured. Why? Because we've had politicians go down there telling these people to come. But the problem is the ones that are coming aren't the ones we want. And it goes back to that there's a system in place. There's a right way and a wrong way to enter this country. The way they do it is illegal. And there's laws, strict laws on that, to where they can't apply for like 6 months to 3 years. And they're to be deported back. Like I said, our government's got out of control. They've created all these manufactured crises. They've taken, none of us dispute the SARS aspect of COVID. It's been around for a while. But this time they pumped it up. They used it, and I mean, some would say, hey, the pandemic won them the election. And there's others that say, no, it didn't. It's just another one of those things we're not going to talk about, because all that does is continue to further the divide. It's enough. Enough's enough. We got to find common ground somewhere. I've been clear about that. Elections have been rigged since day one. How many dead every election time are found? It's a flawed system. It's even flawed by not every vote counts. So it's more easier to manipulate. You know, the system's broke. It's been broke. Nobody wants to fix it. Nobody wants to point it out because when you start pointing it out, well, we see what happens. Do I blame you guys? No, but I'll point them out. Never had a problem pointing out those things. But like I said, guys, we got to stop being at each other's throat. We got to stop the division. It's all about division. It's all it's ever been about. Divided, we fall. That's damn. A nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. But yet we're divided, we fall. Always has been. That's this the cusp of this. The number one rule in warfare. Divide. The more division you sow, the more chaos you sow. The more weak and easy it is to take your objective. If they're divided so much, they're missing all the things that's happening around them. They're too busy arguing who's right or wrong. They're too busy at each other's throats. They're too busy blaming each other while we're doing all this crap right in front of you. You don't see it. And here we stand, a nation divided, purposely divided over every little thing we can think about. It happens on every platform. I mean, look at how many movements or groups or labels that's been thrown around on YouTube for every niche. Oh, you're a truther. You're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, you're a flat earther. You're an SJW, whatever. You're a liberal. You're a conservative. You're a patriot. You're evil. Don't you see the picture? Division. That's okay. It's a person with an opinion. Guess what? No, I said I wasn't going to cuss. But you know what I mean. No, much like something, everybody's got one. Which I already broke the fuck. Yeah, see, I already broke the non-cussing rule. At least it's not every other word like it has been. Just give me some credit. Not much, just a little. I've tried. And in the end, that's all we can do is try. We learn from our mistakes. We learn from our failures. And we don't repeat them. Not saying I'm not going to repeat the cuss words because that's just me expressing me. That's me being me. Part of my vocabulary. This is me trying to be respectful. Because I try to do that with stuff that I think is really important, messages that need to be heard. I don't want somebody tuning off because they can't stand the vocabulary. And some say that's me selling out. That's not me selling out. That's me being respectful. Yeah, I know. Potatoes, potatoes. Call it what you want. It's a matter of opinion. And that's what all these platforms are. They're opinions, views, things for us to learn from each other. You know? And that's what it should always be about. It shouldn't be condemning a person or saying they're not an American, anti-America, because they chose to get a vaccine. No, it's not like that. I'm sorry. Doubt that never going to happen. I'm not going to stand for it. And just because I may have let it slide, I didn't let it slide. Trust me, I didn't let it slide. That burns me so much. Because I find that the most disrespectful thing ever. When we disrespect another fellow American, our fellow brothers and sisters, freedoms and rights and liberties. Then when we start doing that, we're no better than the ones that are doing it to us. And that is, if I may have any message for this one little podcast that I've rambled on way too long, and it's not ramblings of the chaotic mind, because this is just common sense. Maybe I should create a new new show topic, common sense. I'll find something creative to go with it, some imagery to go with it. You know how I am with my images. I love them. They have meaning, they have reason. Till they don't. Just like words and labels, they have meanings and purposes until they don't. But the one thing that will always have meaning, purpose, and reason for me till the day I die is our freedoms, our liberties, our Constitution, what it means to be an American, what it means to be the beacon to the whole world. I'm not going to let no scumbag politician, Supreme Court justice, lawyer, judge take those freedoms away from me. I'm not going to let another fellow brother and sister take it away from anybody else. And that should be, as an American, that should always be our priority. There should never be a division about color or race. Equality. We're all brothers and sisters. It's the corporations that create these divisions, these divides. They're the ones that need to be held accountable for. It's the politicians that create these. It's the system that creates them, not us. We are the victims. We become the victims because we buy into it. We get taught. That's why it's so important to indoctrinate our kids at the early ages when they are most susceptible to indoctrination. That's why it's so important to take your rights as a parent away from you. So you have no say. I'd be damned with that. You have every say. That's your flesh and blood. That's your family. I applaud the guy that slapped that lawsuit down on that school board. And I applaud anybody else that follows footsteps. I applaud anybody that takes a stand for what is right. And I will always have each and every one of your guys' back, no matter what your choice is. Even if it's on something I don't agree with. I've defended Christians and I'm not a Christian. Why? Because you have the freedom of religion. I'm not a big fan of any religion dogma. Because dogma has destroyed what religion is about. Our spiritual well-being and wellness. No matter who it's to, what it's to, who you worship, it doesn't matter. It's your personal spiritual connection with who you so choose and deem to call God. Not a dogma that states, because this person believes this, they're wrong, they're evil, they're a heathen, heretic, pagan, whatever you want, choice label you want to use, to segregate them. As an American, wow, that Satanist is my brother and sister. That Christian is my brother and sister. That Catholic is my brother and sister. That Mormon is my brother and sister. That witch is my brother and sister. They're protected. They have the right to freedom of religion. Do I agree with some of their religious views and beliefs? No. But that's for another. That's between me and them and what we talk about. I'm actually when it comes to that, I fall more on the lines of the old school atheist. I want to talk about it. I want to debate about it. I want to know why you feel this way. What makes you think you're? Because in the end, none of us know. None of us know until the day we die. It could turn out that where every single last one of us and our belief systems are wrong. I doubt that. I don't personally believe that, but hey, that's a possibility. But I do know this: human nature, very aspect of our primal natures. When we strip away our primal sides, we need we need leaders. We need people to follow. We need spiritual well-being to nurture us. It's within our inner core. It's in our souls. That's why you strip away when we reattach ourselves to the primal, we have no need for that because we then become the alphas, the omegas, the leaders. We're no longer followers. Our primal nature is so primal, but it's a primal that is fixated on surviving. And that's what they want to strip away. That's why they've, throughout the last 10 years, have tried to demasculize males, try to defeminize women. It was the whole push and reason for the transgender movement. And the worst part of it was they tricked all of you because through those 10 years, I implore you to go look up how many terms with trans was involved. Clear into our governmental policies, foreign policies, transatlantic movement, trans-Pacific movement. The word trans as a repetitive word numbed everybody to it, to where, oh, repetition is dangerous. I've stated this. It's dangerous, and every esoteric person knows it because we're taught repetition. It's how we learn. It's how actions become. Our actions happen without thought. It's instantaneous. To achieve action without thought, it's through repetition, to where it happens. Once something triggers whatever we set that trigger to be, it becomes instantaneous, without thought, immediate. That's the danger of repetition. When repetition is used in the wrong way, it's used to enslave, strip people of their freedoms, program, manipulate, and gain control of. When it's supposed to be you in control. You are so powerful. Every individual out there has more power in them than any system of government, any standing army. You just don't know it. Your voice is that powerful. That's what they fear. They fear your voice. They fear you freeing yourself of the bonds of slavery that they put on you, the manipulations and illusions they feed you. Because they fear that once you see the truth, once you see you're your own person and how powerful you are, then you have no need for them in power. We all know what's right and wrong. It's in our nature. It's like I said, I get mad when I see people throw the word righteousness around. Because what is righteousness for one is not righteous for another. See, there is a truth to righteousness, true righteousness of the self-freeing, not when it's that righteous. When righteousness is put towards another person, it is not true righteousness. Righteousness is for the self and spiritual growth and well-being of oneself. No war is righteous. No cause is righteous. Because it's, in the end, it's somebody else's agenda. It's not yours. You're just being told that, hey, This is righteous. They're evil. You need to do this. No war is righteous. Righteousness for self is the only form of righteousness. Anything when it applies to elsewhere is no longer righteous. Food for thought. Because the dead don't think it's righteous. Or the innocents that are caught up in between the conflicts. So, what about December? I mean, I don't know. December for me is my favorite time of the year. Other than, I don't know. I don't know if I should say that anymore because that means I'm getting older, but it's still my favorite time of the year. Love it when it snows, love being out. I'm more active in the winter. But I do see the stress. I don't get why all these dates for December. Yeah, I know the obvious. It's the end of the year. Okay, I get that. Hmm, I forgot. It's also when Congress adjourns. Hmm, but that's not it. What are they waiting for? There's something that's not adding up. Like I said, that's for you guys to think on. I don't have the answers to that one. It's just I thought it was. I don't know. There's a synchronicity about it. Let's put it that way. It caught my attention. It triggered me. And it's like, okay, why? I just thought it was for the military for the December thing. Honestly, I did. Then I start looking like, oh, airlines. Okay, what else? Oh, yes, that and that and that. Oh, and it's like, why? Why December? Why not make it now? No. Well, I guess there's elections this year. I guess you know because we know we have that division between Senate and House. One's every 4 and one's every 2. So or whatever it is, I don't remember anymore. So there is that potential. And right now, with the public's view and opinions of things, yeah, no, not a good time to be a politician. But unfortunately, we history has dictated that because we don't get it. We keep voting them back in. I wish we'd stop. I really do. I wish for once we wouldn't even vote for anyone's served. We put new faces in there. One, that's the true definition of, you know, giving them the little finger, tell them "f you," we're done. That brings back fear to them. If we replace every single one of them, don't vote any of the ones that are currently there back in. We put a new face in there. Then they learn there's consequences. They're going to start learning there's consequences. It started. And it started the right way. And that really is going to burn them. So, yes, look for things to come that is very fishy because they don't like it when we outthink them. We're like, okay, fine. We're not going to bite in to what you want. We're not going to massively protest so you can introduce your actors in and cause something to happen so you can try to say, oh, there was an insurgency. You're a domestic terrorist. No, they're not. And they should be ashamed of themselves to call any American a domestic terrorist. Like I said, they got their little funky up with 9/11 Act, the NCAA bill, the Patriot Act. They got all their little funkies off in that we're reaping the repercussions for now. Our vets are considered domestic terrorists because they have the training. So therefore, they can be a threat to the nation. They're not a threat to the American people. They're just a threat to the government because of the oaths they took. It's nothing new. They did the same thing. They did the same thing, labeling the militias bad and evil. To get rid of the militias, we're going to create the National Guard. That's the new militia. No, our militias are still standing strong and proud, more than ever now. We haven't forgotten our ways. Never will. It's what our nation was founded on. It was founded on the militias, the people of the communities coming together as a militia, taking arms to protect their sovereignty and liberties and freedoms. Each and every one of us is a true protector of our nation. It is our due diligence to stand up when atrocities and wrongs are committed. It's our due diligence to stand up and take action when our government becomes so tyrannical that it's trying to enslave its people. It's trying to strip them of their freedoms and liberties. Enough's enough. How do we go about that? There's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. There's a time and place. Hey, I did say I wasn't a Christian, right? You know what my one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible is? It's in it's in Ecclesiastes. There's a time, where it talks about time and place, time to reap, time to love, the time to hate, the time for peace, the time for war. It's not yes, it's a song, but no, it's a Bible verse. Verses, and it's truth. There's a time and place for everything. Right now, there's a time and place for us to take action in many ways. We'll start taking legal action. We start crossing our T's, dotting our I's. We start using the playbook, going through it step by step. There's a process. We start by, hey, everybody wants to fly somewhere, right? Oh no, we feel sick today. We're not on your mandates. We're not on you trying to say we don't have our freedom of choice. And if you want to keep doing it, we'll keep interceding. We'll just keep staying here and we'll bankrupt you until you comply to our liberties and our rights. Like I said, there's many things we can do. It is up to us to take those actions. And trust me, those that don't agree with you, they enjoy vacation too. But we've seen the picket lines. We've seen how corporations will hire outside the unions to replace their workers to break the picket line. And you're always going to have those people because you know what? The ugly truth of it is, yes, we can do that all we want. It hurts. Most people aren't financially capable of it. But you know what we can do? We start treating everybody like our brothers and sisters. And if we do that and we have more than abundance than them, we help them out. Here's some food. Here's some water. But also be understanding that they can't stand on that picket line forever because, they do have us by the balls on certain things. We got to pay our bills. Uncle Sam will not, not even Uncle Sam, the IRS will not let us get away without paying taxes. They know how to punish us. And they do. On certain aspects, they have us by the balls. And this time of the year, nobody can afford to be unemployed, unfortunately. That's why it was cool to see the airlines do it. But it's also, I do understand the everyday people that's barely getting by now can't do it. and they know that. But what if we did? What if it was just for 2 days? What if, some of these real, I consider myself lucky. I work for a place that believe in family values, that believe in treating their workers like they are family. And they go above and beyond out of their way. That's why I don't mind driving 2 hours to go to work, because I work in a wonderful place. Not everybody does. And I know, I wouldn't see our place shut down like that. No. They did everything in their power and found every loophole to keep us running during the shutdown. But they made sure everybody got paid. So they kept their benefits, kept their health care. That's the type of place I work for. I'd like to see more places do that. Take a stand. You know what? We're going to give you a couple days off pay. We're going to shut down. You don't got to tell them why. Not everybody. You tell those who are like-minded why. If our manufacturing and construction and industries all did that, everybody on one given day for 2 days, it would hurt the pockets of these egomaniacs. It's wishful thinking. Yes, I know. It's an example, though. It is an example that we've seen take place, and it cost those airlines companies millions. Millions that they're not going to get back. Now we watch. Now we pay attention. Do they make a change? If it works and they win and they make changes, then we proceed to the next big corporate company that we can't do. They think they can't do without. You want to hurt Walmart? All the Walmart workers don't show up. You want to hurt Amazon? You do the same. Don't show up for the warehouses. You guys got so much control, so much power. If you could only get past your division, if you could only get past that, what it is all about is choice, freedom of choice. The right for a person to make the choices they think is best for them and respect it. And still, at the end of the day, call each other brother and sister. Call each other Americans. When we start doing that, we start winning. We'll start taking back a lot of things that have been taken from us. Food for thought. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm back to work, so, and then the old lady's supposed to be home sometime this week, so it's this weekend, it's all hers. But I'm thinking about something. Since I have a 2-hour drive, I don't know if I'm not making no promises, but maybe 1 or 2 nights out of the week for that 2-hour drive, I'll do a podcast. If I have something to talk about. Because like I said, now that YouTube thought they had me by the balls and I couldn't do, because I don't got thousands of subscribers. Well, guess what? I have Jitsu on my phone, which is the gathering app on the mind. It's Jitsu. And it's tied to my group over here on the Minds, and all I gotta do is put my stream key in my phone, and I can do a live stream, mobile, while I'm out and about. Like I said, I'm using the tools that I've got. Right? I don't like speaking highly of any website or place because they're all flawed. They all have their issues. But I've got a few issues with the Minds because they got their little pay to play too. But you see what I'm using for free, and what they've given us is amazing. And really, the pay to play is just for those that want to really, really mine and do stuff with the crypto. They get the benefit because they get rewarded more for doing it. So like I said, You don't have to have nothing to do with crypto, but you should come over and check out the mines. It's, to me, I think it is the place to be. Doesn't mean leave all where you're at. No, no, no. Stay where you're at. But have a safe haven to go to. A place where you don't have to worry about your freedoms of speech being stricken away. You don't have to stress about, oh, if I say this, I'm going to. And no matter where you go, if you say something, somebody doesn't agree with you, you know what it is. It's everywhere. And you should realize that. Don't get mad. Just block, ignore. Somebody, I mean, I got people say stuff all the time. I don't care. That's your opinion. That's your view. You're got the right to express it. And if I and if I so choose to feed the troll, mainly because I'm bored, need something to do for a bit, I'll feed the troll. Otherwise, I'm not going to feed the troll. The troll go away mad because I'm not giving him any attention. And that's what it's about. We choose to give these people attention. And the result is we add fuel to the fire and they keep doing it. We ignore them for so long, they're eventually going to get bored. This ain't working. They get tired and they'll go away. Yeah, not going to happen overnight, but you know what? In the end, it's worth it. You don't stress about it. You don't care. I do care about the little spammers on YouTube, though. That want to put porn links up. That is getting annoying. And it's been happening for way too long. And I've already delved into that. I've got that video on backup. Like I said, I have my ammunition. Because how that count was done, that had to be somebody on their end. I mean, that all sudden was done. But there is spammers. There's spam bots. I mean, I get it. I know it. But I don't dislike it because now they like holding you accountable for even what's put in your comments. I'm not responsible for the comments. Just like I shouldn't be responsible for what's put in my chat. Yes, I might have a couple moderators. Do they moderate? No. They respect my wishes and views. Everybody has a right to their opinion and view. Until it steps over that line and there's actual a threat made. That's the thing. You guys knew? I could probably count on both my hands how many people I've blocked on all the sites I'm on. And the majority of them were spammers. Bots and spammers. There might be only 2 or 3 people that actually got blocked. I'd like to think as we grow out of those childish incantations that we got to deal with everybody. That we can't ignore things. We got to react. There's some things we should be just ignoring. And there's other things that we just cannot ignore. I cannot ignore the fact that another American tried to call a vaccinated person anti-American because they made a choice. Put yourself in their shoes. Was it their fear? Maybe they have a low immune system. Or maybe they just believe that was the way to go. That doesn't make them an anti-America. That makes them a human being. They're an American that needs to be respected for their choice. Like I said, if I see it, I'm going to unload on you. Because that's how we've gotten to this point. That's how they created the division. That's how they keep pitting us against each other, and that's how they keep winning. Enough's enough. And for those that have the same mindset, you see it, defend that person. Take a stand for that person. Lead by example. Let other people see that this person who's does not believe in it, is taking a stand for somebody that does. Because it will shatter their mindset. It'll shatter those little illusions they got. It will drive them nuts. And it will make them think. Because that's what it means to be an American, is to defend and stand up for each and every American. To protect their liberties, their freedoms, and their choices, their religious views, no matter what it may be. You want to know how we got to there? That's how. Through the division. Through, oh, you're evil, you're wrong, you're anti-American. No. They have a right to that freedom of choice. That's what the Constitution meant and means. That every last one of us has a right, a freedom, a liberty. When that's gone, we are free is very right. We are facing a one world government that doesn't care about the people. It only cares about their own. And then, it's a den of thieves in their own. They'll eat each other to get what they want. But we paid the ultimate price. And they've been doing everything in their power to snuff out that very ideology of what the United States stands for, what being an American stands for. They hate it. They hate the concept of freedom, freedoms of choice, freedoms to speak out against somebody because they're in power, because it undermines them, and they fear that. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. I hope you guys have a wonderful work week. Be safe, and I will see you on the next one.